I will admit that the pavilion at Riverfront Park in Spokane is probably one of the most beautiful areas of the state. It was the site of the 1974 World's Fair and hadn't been upgraded since then. So in 2014, the people approved a $64 million bond, which was largely supported by the Republicans because they're in power here and have been for like a century. So the people approved this bond for $64 million to upgrade the park with all this goof rubber, which is nice to look at. And there's like a whole skate rink down a couple levels off the hill, where they have like a ice skating ribbon in this time of the year in the winter. And it's kind of cool, even though like a few people almost broke their necks. That's bound to happen, I suppose, is the excuse. Nobody has died or been seriously injured yet. In the summertime they open it up and they take the scooters. We got the Lime scooters, and you know, people will like roll around on that ribbon or like skate with the rollerblades or skateboard. $64 million, from what I've heard, quickly developed into $85 million of the famous clock tower of Spokane. Spokane's really famous for like its clock towers. There's one at SCC, Spokane Community College, and there's other clock towers around. Spokane's really well known for like clocks and like bridges and causeways between buildings that connect all the buildings together. There's a town in Washington called Bridgeport, and I once joked that Spokane should change its name to Bridgeport because of all like the walkways and stuff. So if you're in Washington, you wouldn't understand that joke. So that 64 million quickly turned into 85 million, which again was largely backed by the Republicans. The funny thing, the sad thing, is that while the people voted on the $64 million bond in 2014, which quickly went over budget by $19 million, you can see that there's a lot of like development that goes on in Spokane, because the city is really concerned about image and beautification. The funny thing, the sad thing, is that the homelessness population of Spokane is largely due to the fact that they funnel money into these beautification projects pushed by the Republicans, and nobody really gives a damn about the homeless, even though the homeless population here percentage-wise is the highest in Washington state, which means it's higher than Seattle. Spokane's the second biggest city. It's bigger than Tacoma. So yeah, this is beautiful, but we recently just had a Democrat lose to a Republican again, which is to be expected because it's Spokane. Ben Stuckert recently lost to Nadine Woodward. I always mispronounce her. Nadine Woodward, who was a TV news anchor. So our version of Sarah Palin won to become mayor of Spokane like last night, against Ben Stuckert, who would have won in any other county, because every other county in Spokane is, or every other county in Washington state is Democrat, and we get Spokane Republicans funneling money into useless shit that makes the city look beautiful, like bridges and things, while the homelessness population just continues to grow and grow, and the meth addiction rate keeps going up and up, and Spokane is frequently listed as the most crime-ridden cities in Washington state, even above Seattle. And that's kind of why I came here, is I wanted to see what this disastrous, like, sugar-coated bullshit town was like. And it is entertaining, but the vapidity of it is rather obvious if you're from the west side of the state or any other county. especially me, where I lived in the West Side for 36 years. Coming to Spokane is a bit of a culture shock. It's like this veneer of like nicety, while the poor continue to suffer and suffer and suffer because the Republicans are constantly voted into power in this one county in one of the most liberal states in the union.